Jim, are you and Herb there? Trying to see who else is here in the chat room.
Looks like they're muted.
Yeah, it does look like they're muted. I'll give them another minute. Remind me what you engaged in career-wise.
We're in the dry cleaning business.
Okay.
So we have what we call 31 locations. We have 22 geographical locations and 9 pickup and delivery routes.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so we've been doing
what's the name of it?
We have multiple names. We have First Class Cleaners, Hangers Cleaners, Best Cleaners, and Winterland Cleaners.
So it's all the same?
Yeah, they're just through acquisition or opening. Our industry is unique, and I know everyone says their industry is unique. I used to be in the consulting world, for PricewaterhouseCoopers, and so every little industry says they're unique. Ours is a little different than most because we have people's stuff. You know, their stuff is our raw material and what we do. So quality is subjective, and not only is it subjective customer to customer, it's subjective intra-customer.
Yeah.
If customers are having a great day, I could run their clothes over with a truck and give it to them, and they'd go, "Ooh, great." If the boss yelled at them, they got bit by their dog, or their wife yelled at them, I could give them brand new clothes, and they'd say, "Well, these really aren't up to standard." So,
yeah.
but it's a great business. We love it. We've been in it a long time.
How did you find yourself? What drew you into it, and what's kept you in it for so long? Where you've been expanding and everything.
We got into it when my wife and I got married. We wanted to work together. I was working over in the former Soviet Union.
Yeah.
As an expat, and we decided to get married, and we wanted to work together. So what we said was, my wife was a jeweler, designed jewelry. So we each said, okay, we'll give ourselves 6 months. So we got into the business, and I took a store. We bought a little operation over in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
I took a store, my wife took a store, and we both kind of just decided we kind of liked the business. In our little industry, you don't have to be the sharpest pencil in the box because we're not surrounded by sharp pencils for the most part. And I don't mean that pejoratively. It just, most small business owners are small business owners because they're good at that particular business, or at doing whatever it is their business does, whereas we're in the business of, I don't know how to clean garments. I don't know how to press garments. I don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah.
But it's been great for us. Now we're in like a lot of industries are, because of technology, because of the people that are cycling out of being a major cash generator, with the new people cycling in our industry and a lot of other industries, where that change is dramatically different now. It used to be the people that cycled out due to age were very similar to the new people cycling in. Now it's not like that.
Yeah.
So we're starting to have serious contemplation and discussions about not blowing up, that's the wrong term, but about doing some radical changes in our business.
So you're looking at being the disruptor.
Yes, in some respects.
Yeah.
Some it would be catching up, some it would be disrupting. We spent some time studying the Chick-fil-A model, and I just read a book, by Steve Robinson, who was their EVP of marketing for 30 years. And it was embarrassing to one respect, because a lot of things that they've executed and put in place are things we've talked about for years that we never executed on. And I think we've reached a point where we're ready to execute on those things. If you break our little industry down into 4 segments, the traditional dry cleaner like us, we're in the only segment that really is shrinking. The other 3 segments are the ones that are growing due to the new entrants into our marketplace.
Right.
So, you know, dry cleaning is a fixed cost business. We're very profitable. So we could go for a long, long time without having to address it, but I'd rather address it now.
Yeah.
And so anyway, long story short, that's who we are.
Well, good for you. And it's helpful to know all of that, just know a little more about you. Yeah. So, Will, it looks like you're joining us. Herb, Jim, I can't see you guys yet, but we'll go ahead and get started. I knew it was a crapshoot trying to pull this off on the night after everyone's been so anxious the last week. But because we have the advantage of being able to record such things these days, I thought we'd go ahead and do it with whoever we gathered here, and then we'll send out the link to everyone else. So thanks for joining us. This what's called Younique is something I've been a part of for the last 3.5 or 4 years. 2 buddies of mine, another part of the country, created this, and then they invited me in the early stages to come and help them build it out around the country. And I was intrigued and interested and ended up getting engaged because I've watched over these decades the church be really good at helping Christ followers understand their general calling as followers of Jesus. Where the church has not even got near the subject is helping people move from their general calling as followers of Jesus to what's their specific calling that is unique literally to them. So we know in Ephesians 2:10, Paul goes, well, actually, every one of you are God's workmanship. And it's literally the Greek word means you are God's unique masterpiece. You're God's unique work of art. So God, you know, God's created each one of us as this workmanship that he's created for good works in Christ Jesus so that we would walk in them. Most of us, I've noticed over the years, haven't been really trained nor discipled in how to find out that specific Ephesians 2:10 gift that God's hardwired us for. And what does it mean then to take that into the world that God's intersected our lives with and really make just a unique and meaningful contribution to the world? So that's what all of this came out of. One of my buddies runs the top church consulting firm in the country. It's called Oxano, and it's a national Christian brand. And they've been really great at helping organizations over the last couple of decades get really clear on their identity and their direction and mastering execution. They've been really good at helping them around, you know, their mission and their values and their strategy and their scoreboard and things like that. And so he regularly had CEOs and presidents of companies regularly say, so Will, have you ever considered helping an individual leader be able to think like this for their own life, not just for their organization? And we've all used some life planning devices and processes. Probably several of you have done so as well in the past. They've been helpful, but we weren't aware of any that were what we would consider to be gospel-centered life design. And so that's where we came up with this thing. We've already piloted it with about 3,000 people around the country. In fact, about 3 or 4 of the key churches in the country today have hired us to come in and help install this as a part of their disciple-making process, because it is indeed so, you know, very, very unique. So what I did was, when I came on the team here at First Orlando last year, one of the things I told David and Danny was that I wanted to begin to introduce this as a part of a larger discipleship, you know, design process that I wanted to help install at First Orlando. And they were extremely enthusiastic for it. And so I've already gone through 2 rounds of this last year and then this spring. I've taken about, I think about 80 people at First Orlando through this process. And so that's really what we're talking about together tonight. If I were to really whittle it down for you, it would be, in the Younique process, we teach people how to master the identity of who they are. We help them master them based upon who I am, what do I need to be doing, and where do I need to be going. Master your direction. And then the third thing is be able to master the art of execution. How do you actually follow through with that plan? So Younique has a series of 5 master tools. And let me pull up my screen here. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen right there. So this, can you see that okay?
Yes.
All right, terrific. Here's the process for Younique. Younique is actually designed to be a once-a-week discipling process that really goes through a period of 6 months. So there's what we call Journey 1, which is 12 sessions. It's helping you master your direction. And then there are another 12 sessions about mastering the direction for your life. Again, we see this in the Gospels. When I know who I am, then I know what to do. And most people think, they start off in our culture, including our Christian culture, okay, here's what I need to do. And then that ends up defining who they are. And so we've tried to invert the process that we see unfolding throughout the biblical narrative. So the way we do that is through a series of 5 master tools you see up here on the screen. The first one is clarity spiral. And there are lots of details around that, but it's really intended to represent what does the real journey of discipleship look like? And what does the real journey of trying to find absolute crystal clear personal clarity for my life? Let's say we all have a proverbial Mount Everest or a summit we want to get to. And there's no way, I mean, life is not designed for us to go right in linear fashion, make a beeline from point A to point B. It's more like a butterfly effect. And so the clarity spiral is intended to represent, it's like you and I going up a tall mountain trying to get to the summit. We know it's not accessible to go straight up, so we have to take switchbacks. And that's really what following Jesus is all about. That's why I happen to be of the personal opinion that the children of Israel didn't actually waste 40 years in the desert when they could have gotten there in 12, 14 days. I believe that God allowed them to go through that round and round and round the same route experience because of all the things they were going to grow that ended up, we know, laying a phenomenal foundation for the country of Israel for generations to come. So in the clarity spiral, we try to help you begin to think about, what does the journey to personal clarity look like for my life? The second master tool is what we call the sweet spot tool. And in it, we intersect 3 circles. First of all, we intersect the circle of your passion. And we'll give you a series of assessments to help you answer the question, what fuels me the most? What gets me up in the morning? You know, what keeps me up late at night? Boy, to be able to discover what that is and then join that passion with your ability circle. What am I best at doing? And then this third circle here is what we call the context circle of where can my impact be the greatest based upon the passions God's given me, the abilities that always come out of our story, by the way, right? And this is a part of how God hardwires all of us. And then you just see that sweet spot here in the middle between those 3 circles. What we end up doing is synthesizing all of that, all those assessments down into being able to name in 2 words your life call, and then be able to do it in 12 words, building it into, you know, like an actual elevator speech that has everything to do with you. You know, for example, for me, my 12 words, when I think about my general calling as a follower of Jesus versus my specific calling of Jesus, I think, all right, my general calling is to, love God with all my heart, right? And make disciples of all nations. Here's how I uniquely go about that. My specific calling is I help church and ministry leaders discover healthier personal and professional identities so they can live more fulfilling and fruitful lives. That's really what I'm all about. I do that at First Orlando. Also do that as an outside speaker, coach, and consultant to other churches around the country and other leaders, both in the marketplace and in ministry. I mean, I know I'm hardwired by God to be able to do those kinds of things, but it's the unique process that gives you the ability to kind of boil it down like that for you. Then the third master tool right here is what we call the vision frame. And in the vision frame, this is where we help you begin to, based upon these first two tools, to really be able to identify, what is the mission of your life, the values, and this unique strategy that you need to employ. The fourth master tool, what we call the horizon storyline, here we help you paint a picture inside this vision frame. So just think about this vision frame here and moving it over. We help you paint a picture of where you need to go based upon who you've discovered yourself further to be. Now, again, I know all of you on this call, you have a good sense of your identity, but I got a sneaking suspicion that it's possible that you could narrow that down even clearer and more compelling that can carry you forward, whether you feel like you've got another season left in life or you got 4 more seasons left in life, whatever that might be. And just out of that, let me show you, here is the big deliverable out of the unique process. We would end up showing you what we call our life plan, your life plan snapshot. And the whole unique process, we would boil down to this one sheet of paper. We'll end up taking about 220 pages of content, gospel-centered content around life design, and boil all of it down to this one sheet of paper. That, you notice right here, here's my life call. This is my what. This is the mission of my life. I'm going to be able to write out, here's what my life core is and all the values that are there. What are my life steps? How do I go about accomplishing my life calling core? And life score, when do I know if I'm winning or not? When do I know what's a gospel-centered way of thinking about, instead of winning or losing, being successful, unsuccessful, how does God tend to view all the different endeavors of my life? And then inside this snapshot, we'll help you customize and install a directional piece for yourself 3 years out, 1 year out from now, and then choose a singular 90-day goal. So a part of what we've discovered in recent years is that some people are not patient for a 6-month process. And some of you are more alpha dogs that are on this call anyway, that I'm seeing right now. And you would like to have it more in a condensed form and fashion. And so what I've done is I've created 2 different workshops. One is going to be in October on a Friday night and Saturday. The second one, and so you'll go through Journey 1 there. And then I'm going to give you 3 or 4 weeks to process all of it. And I'm willing to meet with any of you in the midst of that. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, we'll do another Friday night and Saturday where we'll complete the other 3 months of the process together. And my hope and belief would be, and I've seen this enough with several thousand people I've taken through this so far, that the majority of you will get some brand new breakthroughs in your life and be able to better integrate your personal life with your family life, with your vocational life. There are many people at First Orlando that are really clear on what their vocational path is. And but there are many others that lack that clarity. But on top of that, some of you know exactly where I'm going with this. When I look out, when I'm on the stage looking out over the 8:30 crowd, I see, oh my gosh, I see 1,500, 2,000 people that the thing that excites them the most, the thing they have most to look forward to is seeing the grandkids or, visiting your second home somewhere. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, the church should be equipping all these people to go, your best days are not behind you. I mean, certainly enjoy your life at this unique stage you have, but God still wants you to become a difference maker, perhaps in some fresh and new ways. What would that look like? I really, out of all of our weekend services, I look at the 8:30 crowd and I go, that's our sleeping giant right there. And oh my gosh, if we could awaken a quarter of that crowd with the kind of specificity we're talking about and do it in community with each other, something powerful, I believe, and profound could happen over time. But this process is for people, whether they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond that. And so, that's a real quick overview. I've been talking for a while. Let me come up for air. Any questions you want to ask about that so far? And let me remind you guys, if you want to speak, you need to make sure you unmute your mic down at the bottom left-hand side of your screen there. Will, you had a question?
Well, I think Jeff was starting to talk, so I'll let Jeff go first.
No, go ahead, Will.
Okay. All right, thanks. So I apologize. I was helping someone, so I rushed home and broke a few speed limits on the way here, so I was a couple minutes late getting on. But they were like, why is that Prius flying down the road? But anyway, so if I understand it correctly, so it's a 2-3 month program, but yet it sounds like there's a fast track, if you will. Am I hearing that correctly?
That's correct. Yeah. So the fast track, you still cover the same material, but I just do it in a shorter period of time on 2 weekends where we do a Friday night, all day Saturday. We do that one weekend. We wait for 3 weeks, come back again on a Friday night, Saturday. And that way we cover the whole 6 months.
Okay.
And I'm probably moving forward because I've done this a couple of times now here at First. I'll probably offer this, once or twice a year in this workshop format. But beginning next year, we're actually going to begin a series of unique discipleship cohorts or groups that would meet just, an hour and a half every single week for a period of 6 months.
Gotcha.
And what my goal is, I don't want this built around me. My dream is to be able to train dozens and dozens of certified coaches and trainers within our ministry so that we could literally expand this throughout our ministry and hopefully in the vocational realm of Central Florida. And I think, the church is so good. When I'm talking about the church, I'm not talking about First Orlando, I'm talking about the Big C church, is so good at helping people with, kind of the slice of pie of their spiritual life and sometimes with their family. But the church really hasn't done a good job of helping people with their 9 to 5 and with their vocational endeavors. And I mean, how do you integrate God into all of that? How do you integrate who God's made you to be and all of that? And so this is, I believe, is an opportunity for us to be able to make a dent in our culture like that, beginning with just a lot of the people that we have there in our ministry. So, Will, does that make sense?
Absolutely. Really appreciate that.
Yep.
If you, I'll quick comment. I don't want to steal from Jeff,
right.
But your comment about the first service, I have long felt the same way. Now, I know Pastor, and I don't mean to go against Pastor David, he's always talked about the builder generation being the greatest generation. I tend to disagree for the reason that as the Bible says, and then in the end times, men shall run to and fro over the face of the earth, and knowledge shall increase. And I really think that no generation has the time, because I worked in the villages in the financial planning realm, so I was there for, I guess, 8 years. And to see those people literally drinking and dancing, they're years away. I met many of them, PhDs and this, that, and the other thing. And now they're just wasting their brain. And it's like, gosh, you have so much to offer society. And that's for the secular realm, let alone the Christian realm. My word, the difference that could be made. And so many of them who did give were just giving to, National Christian Foundation. And so here you have the largest foundation in the United States, and all this money's wrapped up in it. It's not getting out there, getting ministry done. And it's like all this money and all this talent that has the time to get it done. And anything I can do to encourage them to awaken, and then I'm 50, to get my generation and younger involved and help them say, look, these are mistakes we made. pursue God, and here's the tools to do it. We went through this course, and now we want someone like you to go through it. Anything to help people find out what their God's gifts are and what God needs for their lives. So
great. Well stated, Will. Yeah, well stated. Jeff?
Well, actually, Will hit part of it. Was I thought I heard as well that instead of it being a 6-month, it was 2 extended weekends over a period. So that answered the big one. And then you hit on it, the age groups. I love working with the younger folks. As you know, I'm in with the student ministry and younger folks that age, and then college kids. So you answered the question on what age groups, does this really apply to? Because, I mean, it's cool for, us older folks to jump into this thing, but wow, you've already thought about the impact of doing this 20 years younger or when you're 20s or, something like that. Exactly.
So, to your point, Jeff, I've already been working with Chris Bacon and with Doug Hankins in both of their ministry arenas of, in fact, we're almost finished creating the student version for Younique.
Oh, wow. Great.
And then we've got a collegiate part of it that I've got Doug and Isaac moving in that direction. Because, I took Chris Bacon, I took Doug and Isaac and those guys and parts of their team through Younique this last year. And they were like, oh my gosh, how can we translate this back into our ministry? Because we've never seen anything like this. We haven't had anything that is this practical of a tool that's extremely gospel-centered in nature.
Yeah. And I mean, to give kids that age the tool to be able to really peer inside themselves, to help set up, okay. Because that's what the kids are looking for. They're looking for that help, but they don't know where to get it So what a great blessing this could be.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have used the service I'm about to mention, but, over the years, I've had a number of friends that have paid a lot of money to fly out. Like the key guy in the country is a guy by the name of Tom Patterson, lives in Colorado. And I've had buddies over the years that have paid $5,000 to $8,000 to go out and spend 2 days with Tom or with one of the associates on his team, where they created really comprehensive, great, meaningful, compelling life plans. Well, we know that for the average Joe, that's not accessible. And so a part of what we're doing is we're trying to get this down to where basically a person will be able to go through this for $200. In fact, our plan is, another 5 or 6 years from now, we're hoping we'll be as ubiquitous to the local church as FPU is. So FPU, of course, is in the financial space. We would be in the life planning space. But where this would just be become normative in church world, but where it becomes extremely, extremely affordable. And that's why I mentioned in the email that I sent out to you guys, typically people will pay like $2,400 to come and sit through, these 2 workshops I mentioned to you. But what we've done is we've boiled this down. First Orlando is picking up the cost for part of it, and then I'm donating the rest of my time and cost for it, so that basically it's the cost of the kit and the cost of the assessments for $200. And so it's a great, great bargain in light of what other people are having to do. But again, I want you to just catch a vision of the possibilities of if in the next several years we could multiply this out throughout the various ministry arenas of First Orlando and then bleed it into the marketplace, what the possibilities would be. And so whether you're a C-suite guy or girl, or whether, you work as a welder, as a school teacher, as in the medical profession, educate, it doesn't matter, that it would be accessible for every single person, no matter what realm they tend to operate in and hang out in. Does that help?
Yes, sir.
Good. Any other questions? Okay. If you're interested in being a part of this, why don't you can email me or Cindy Lucas and say, hey, count me in. We'll get you the final details. There'll be some work ahead of time. There'll be 3 assessments we'll have you take online a couple of weeks leading up to the course. And then we'll show you those results when we come together. This requires a lot of work. This is a very interactive process. I'm not up teaching the whole time. In fact, I just teach in small segments, and then I move into more of a trainer mode. And you're going to have a lot of interaction. You're going to have a lot of reflection time. You're going to be around tables with other people. You're going to be processing, thinking through this. And it's a very, very, very fun experience. And I haven't had anyone say they've been bored by it at all so far. And so I think it would be very enjoyable. And I would love for all of you to join me. We've got I think we've got 30, I don't remember, 30 or 35 spots open, because I don't want to have a large group for this, so that I can really coach people through this process. And then I've got several other people assisting me that I've already taken through this process, like Daryl and Doug and Isaac and some people like that. I would also encourage you to bring your spouses to this. I've had some spouses bring their spouses because their spouse was like, gosh, I wish I had a better handle on what I'm supposed to be doing next with my life. My kids are gone. We're at a different place in life. And what am I supposed to be doing with my life that's meaningful to me and is also making a difference in the lives of other people? So again, the application for this just goes on and on and on. And I'll wrap it up with this. The best way of summarizing this whole unique personal vision journey process is this: it helps you discover the God-inspired dream for your life, and then it trains you in how to design your life around that. What does it look like to discover the unique dream that God has had for my life all along, that he's never, ever, ever given up on? And then as I discover that, how can I then practically begin to design my life around it, that I can take that and integrate it into every other domain of my life? So that's a good, simple way of kind of summarizing the whole deal. So if you guys have any further questions or something, later, be sure and shoot me a text or an email, anything like that. And love for you guys to join us next month for it.
Is there a website? Is there a website for?
Yes, there's a website. It's Life, L-I-F-E, Unique, but unique is spelled Y-O-U, unique, Y-O-U-N-I-Q-U-E, lifeunique.com.
Great.
So you can find it right there.
Awesome.
Okay.
And
Great being with you guys. Thanks for coming tonight. See ya.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.